the flat collar. The flat collar has a shape like those little pillows, the travel pillows. And the way that we draft this one is a little bit different. We're not gonna take the measurement like how we did here and draft it from a straight piece. We're gonna actually use our bodice and just trace along the neckline. So let's start off with our center back, because it's a straight, line, it's easier to follow. Oh, this is also gonna be needing to be folded, so that I don't have to draft both sides. Let's just draft one side. So we'll line up our center back, trace the neckline, and then just until the shoulder line here. So from this shoulder line, we're going to straighten out the line. Then we'll take our front piece, and we're not gonna line up the edge exactly as it is. We're gonna overlap it slightly. And the reason we overlap it is just to kind of give it a little bit more of a structure, because if it's completely straight following this pattern, unless that's your design intention, it's gonna be very, very flat here. But let's give ourselves a little bit of a roll at the neckline. So we're gonna reduce the curve by 1/2 inch. Does that make sense to you guys, what I just did? So this part right here, I'm gonna try to explain it the best I can, okay? You see how there's a little bit of a curve right as it sits on the neck. If there is no roll like that, if you didn't want to add the roll, you might actually increase your angle. But we're gonna reduce the angle to allow for it to roll a little bit. This comes with practice, so I feel like the way I'm explaining it is just terrible, but.
That makes sense now.
Okay. So we're gonna overlap it just by 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna just kind of estimate like where 1/2 inch might be at. And then draw a new line. This line becomes irrelevant. I'm gonna then take my front pattern, line it up where I just drew that one overlap. And now continue the neckline. Continue all the way around until you get to the front, center front. Now we're gonna do a few more things, a few more adjustments. We have our neckline shape here. This no longer becomes relevant. We've already overlapped it, so I'm gonna just eliminate it because I don't wanna confuse myself. We're gonna encourage more of a roll by at the center back here, oops, shifting it towards the neck 1/4 inch. And this kind of just helps give it more material there. While the back, we want to give more material, the front, we actually want to take away material because we don't want it to sit up here. We don't want it to roll up here. We're going to have it lay a little bit nicer. So then we're going to do the opposite. Instead of adding here, we're going to take away down here. And then we're just going to connect with our French curve to our shoulder line. Same thing here. Now to not confuse myself, I'm gonna get rid of the lines that do not matter to me now. So this is my new line, and I'm gonna then do my pattern, my collar height, which I believe it was 3 inches. Can someone confirm the flat collar height?
2.5.
2.5. 2.5 at the center back, around until you get to the front, and you can kind of decide the shape that you want for the front. You can have it very rounded, or you can have it dip a little bit lower, but this area sits right here. So you can decide the shape that you want. You have your center front point right here already. So as long as you're not cutting into this area, the rest of this can be up to you, however you want. So I'm just gonna do a little curve from my center front point. And then I have my 2.5 line here. That I'm gonna connect to this curve here. As long as the center back is 2.5. This doesn't really matter. So this is the pattern. Now we just add our seam allowances, and we're gonna do the undercollar and the interfacing for this one. I'm gonna show you guys how to do the undercollar, but the interfacing will be the same.
We're doing a 1/4 inch all the way around.
1/4 inch all around. 1/4 inch at the outer edge, and then this is the neckline edge, which attaches to the bodice at a 1/4 inch. And then notches are important for collars. On here, the notches that are significant are the center back and the shoulder. Same as the standing collar, we had one for the shoulder mark. So those two notches, when you open it up, as long as you have it on both sides. This is the top collar. Another thing too, for this corner right here, at the neckline and the bottom line, you want to make sure that it's 90. So just do your checks to make sure that it's 90. If it's not, just redraw your seam, your line. I'm going to redraw it like that.
For a whole inch?
No, this was from my seam allowance. I just did I just checked to see if it was 90, but then my seam allowance starts there. So it was only a 1/4 inch.
From the center back, from that fold line?
From this, well, I was just checking the corners to make sure it's 90.
How long does it need to go for though, the 90-degree angle?
Oh, not too much, just right at the fold here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so you don't have a
Just like
crease.
1/4 inch.
Yeah,
Okay.
just so when you open it up, it's not like angled really awkward.
Okay.
So that looks good to me. Okay. Now we have it, if you can imagine how it sits on the neck, it goes like this. Yeah. All right, so now let's do the undercollar. My paper. So for this is the top color. The undercolor, same process as the other one. We're gonna trace it around the entire piece. Oh my goodness. Okay. Notch here, notch here. This notch is right here. We're gonna trim away the outer edge. So for that, the standing collar, we trimmed just around the outer edge, but not at the neck edge. We're gonna do the same thing. So from the center back, 1/8. I'm not gonna measure it, the measuring takes too long. All the way until you get to the center front point here, we're gonna taper it to 0. So this is 0, and this is 1/8, trimming away. So it's gonna be the same both sides. I'm only gonna draw out this side, but trim here, taper to 0, and that becomes your under collar. And then to do the interfacing will be the same exact process. You just take your under collar, retrace it, and then trim 1/8 all the way around. We're clear on that one?
Yes.
Okay, moving on. The rolled collar.